Well, hi there. Welcome to this Moneycontrol live stream. I'm Nandita Khemka, and I have with me my colleague Yatin Mota, and we'll be doing the market check for you right now. Well, Yatin, it's a pretty range-bound session for the market. We started above that 18,300 mark, but then we slipped into the red, and now we are back above that 18,250 mark and trading around that 18,280 mark or thereabouts. If you look at the index, the sectoral movers, Nifty PSU Bank index is once again emerging as the main culprit behind the weakness in the market. The Nifty PSU Bank index was down somewhere around 3% in yesterday's session, and even today it was down over 1.5% when I checked last. Aside of that, you have the IT and Pharma baskets under pressure, and when you look at the other end of the market, on the flip side, you have FMCG and Realty. Those sectors are doing well in today's session. Among the top Nifty losers, of course, SBI is once again among the big laggards on the Nifty, aside of UPL, which is extending its losses after poor fourth quarter performance. You have Dr. Reddy's ahead of numbers. That stock is also under pressure. Coal India, another one in the red today. Among the Nifty gainers, of course, IndusInd Bank. We'll be talking about the upgrade that has come in from a brokerage, and because of that, the stock is up and about. Among the top Nifty gainers, you have HDFC Life, Britannia, HU and Nestle. Those are some of the other winners. Yatin, from the broader end of the markets, we'll talk about the movers, but let's talk about what's happening in the PSU banking space. Is there a report from Morgan Stanley that's weighing heavy on some of these PSU banks?
So it's not about the report only. The Reserve Bank of India in January 23 had come out with ECL provisioning norms consultation paper, which the consultation got over in February 23. Now ECL, which is expected credit loss provisioning, is something which has some impact on the PSU banks more than the private sector banks. Why? Because the current provisioning norms are that after account defaults, after 90 days you start recognizing it as NPA, and then you do the provisioning. But ECL, which is expected provisional thing that you will do, you will upfront your provisions rather than doing it post the NPA cycle or waiting for a default. Because usually when the bank lends to 100 people, there is always a probability that 1-2 will default. Right. So the ECL provisioning norms would impact banks, because once you front load your provisions, there could be a 5 to 20% impact on a net worth. Smaller PSU banks would have to do more provisions, which means that less of profits, higher impact on net worth, and hence the fundraising requirement also moves up. So these are the prima facie concerns which the street has been estimating. Obviously the RBI has not yet decided on when do these ECL norms kick in, but this is a global standard practice, and Morgan Stanley has downgraded 2 PSU banks in terms of targets. Canara Bank target reduced by nearly 10% plus, and PNB they have downgraded to underweight, and the target from 55 has moved down to 50 rupees.
Right, so that's why the PSU banking pack has been under pressure over the last 2 sessions, if I may say so. Aside of that, IndusInd Bank on the flip side has won itself a double upgrade from UBS, wherein it has, I think it was neutral earlier, and now it has given a buy rating on the stock, and the target price has been up from 1250 to 1450 rupees a share. Talk about earnings. DRL is expected to report its numbers today. A healthy 20% growth expected in profit, and even the US sales are expected to do well. And it had sold some 9 dermatology brands during the quarter to HDFC Life, so that benefit will also kick in the quarter. So that's why the earnings are expected to be pretty healthy for DRL. On the other hand, Lupin has done a very good job. It has reported a steady set of numbers, above estimate numbers, but the stock was somewhere under pressure, given the fact that
it's now up 2%. So it's just moved a bit higher.
Right. Aside of that, L&T also expected to report numbers. Healthy order book expected. It is expected to in fact top its sales guidance of 15% that it had given for FY23. So that's something that we'll be watching out for. Aside of that, there is in the mid cap, and SCI is one counter. I want to say it was jumping somewhere around 8% or thereabouts on the back of very healthy numbers. Any other mid cap names that you can think of?
I think Latent View, that is the top loser on Nifty 500, 10% down. Results were quite weak. In fact, profit fell more than 35%. Aarti Industries also weak results, and the railway stocks are witnessing a profit taking. RVNL today is also down 5%. Godrej Agro, to my surprise, down another 4%. On the flip side, we have Sobha Developers, Finolex Pipes, Cyient, all of these stocks moving anywhere between 5 to 7%.
Right, even Apollo Tyres reported a very good set of numbers, but the stock is under pressure, given I think it's profit booking that's weighing down on the stock. Aside of that, if you talk about cues, US inflation figures will come out tonight, and that's something that investors will be watching out for, because it will decide or set the tone for the Fed to actually pause its rate hike cycle. Whether it does that or not may be data dependent, as Jerome Powell had indicated in his speech. So that's one figure that the street will be watching out for. Aside of that, just want to highlight one big news rather that's come out. Insolvency plea for Go First has been admitted by the NCLT. So that means it will continue as a going concern, and now the moratorium will also kick in. So the promoters have been asked to submit somewhere around 5 crore rupees to keep it functioning, and then they can actually look for co-owners or even sell the aircraft. But as of now, it is not going down under. So that is one big relief coming in for Go First. That was in fact the big news that we were tracking at this hour. But aside of that, I think we've covered all the stocks that are buzzing in today's session. We'll be back at 3:30 to take you to the market close, so it's a good buy from me and Yatin. But for more news and updates, stay tuned to Moneycontrol.